whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, back with another exciting advanced guide, this time for the Type 62 Dragon. And we've taken a little bit of a turn in our presentation mode here. What I'm going to be doing is presenting really just one game and breaking that game down into specifics. So, because I've had a lot of people who've talked to me and said they love the format, but they really want to know what I'm thinking about as I play, and how I make my decisions and those kind of things, and what I factor into it and why I'm doing it. And I figured that we could do that at the same time as reviewing a tank. So I chose the Type 62 Dragon because although it is a premium tank that is rarely available, it is very emblematic and representative of light tanks in general. So this can double as both a review for the Dragon and a little bit of a chat on light tanks and how you can play a very mobile tanks role in Blitz. If you haven't already, there is a Patreon link there. If you ever consider sponsoring the channel, please do click on that, and Bob's your mother's brother. There's some big patch news, 2.9 coming out. We've got a video coming out today, which will be absolutely massive news. So stay tuned for that. Now, light tanks. What's so big about light tanks in general and the Type 62 Dragon in particular? Well, the most defining characteristic of light tanks is their camouflage and the way it works. You can see hoodies in the Comet there. Now, the Comet has excellent camouflage, but when he's moving in that Comet, its camouflage is drastically reduced. Not so in the Type 62. When you are rolling in the 62, you are as invisible as if you are actually sitting still, and you carry that camo with you all the way through. The other thing that light tanks generally, and the 62 in particular, possess is blinding speed, and I like to use that camo and that speed to combine and get out and spot targets. As you can see there, I'm telling everyone I'm spotting up. Now, the enemy has 5 TDs here, so I'm expecting to see a fair amount of campers. And it doesn't exactly work out that way, but this is what I try to do, and it just shows that how the game is so intricate, and there are so many variables that all kinds of things can happen even when you think you're doing it right. Now, in other words, there's no guarantees in life. Now, I like to get up here and spot targets. So here I am. My camo at the moment is exactly the same as if I was sitting absolutely stationary, even though I'm going 60 odd kilometers an hour. Now, the Dragon has incredible mobility and is super agile. It's got 58 degrees of traverse on its tracks and 48 on its turret. So it's a fantastic tank for circling heavier tanks and for redeploying all over the battlefield. And you'll see what I mean by the end of this match. We're in a very small, tight map area, and we still managed to do about 2.5 kilometers in movement. Now, that KV-1, I've spotted him. I'm thinking he's easy pickings. There's still 2 tanks I haven't seen, which is a platoon of Russian TDs. Now, you see the reason I'm stopping is this, is you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks up there. The KV-1 I spot is 5. But the actual platoon has pushed, they've blown speed boosts and absolutely burned rubber all the way around. They are ahead of that KV-1. And I make a fatal error here because as much as you can get there quickly and you can spot, there is no guarantees in this life. And when I push around and actually go for that KV-1, I run into a barreling SU-122-44. And that is after we find out that behind us is popping an SU-100M. So, yeah, Pimp Daddy gets squashed between the two and smashed. So you can see there, I've seen behind me, the platoon mate of that SU-122-44 has popped. Now, this is what light tanks are all about. I'm going to move and turn quickly and engage and get that guy from the back because I can do 60 kilometers an hour and I can get there very, very fast. And the Type 62 Dragon is excellent like that. But I'm going to take a big hit from that SU-122-44, and we're going to get a lucky bounce from the KV-1 as we try and redeploy to help our platoon mate. Now, you'll note that 122-44 is moving at pace. He is already across the Rubicon. I've blown engine boost to get out of there, and I'm around and into. And I switched to heat. Now, something to note on the Type 62 Dragon. You have 250 millimeters of pen on your heat rounds, which is massive. And it's needed because you do see Tier 9 games in this tank. However, you've only got 145 millimeters of pen on your AP. So if you ever want to absolutely guarantee a penetration, quite often switching to heat is the way forward. There's not a lot of tanks at this tier that have more pen than you, which is fantastic. You also have a fantastically quick gun. Because you're a light tank and you've got huge torque in your engine and a massive power to weight ratio, you can do things like this. Now I head down here. Why? Because I can't see what direction that SU-122-44 is going. And if he actually follows me down, I can then go up while he's still stuck down here, and I'll jettison him and move forward. But he's running away, and he sees me coming, so he starts to take off. And this is where that 10.5 rounds comes in on this gun. Now it's 0.37 dispersion, but it's very, very quick. And you'll note I stop here. I don't want to go around that corner. Why? Because there's TDs and heavy tanks around, and they're more than likely right now looking for an opportunity to put shots into me. However, we've tracked this 122-44, and we get him. And you can see here as we slow it down, this is really the play of the day. If he had got around and I'd have moved out and got hit, I wouldn't have had the hit points to do what I do later on. So here we go. Great shot, great gun, very, very handy. We've pulled up, we're dead stopped, getting right in the track, and 10.5 rounds a minute will allow you to perma-track just about any tank that is rolling. So what do we do from here? Well, there's just me and a ram left. The 62 is so agile, and it's got so much camo. We're going to get rid of this guy in the cap circle, the KV1, and then we're going to take things from there. But it bears repeating, there's 3 TDs, or 2 TDs still left. They're over at the bridge, and they are basically snipers. They just want to put shots on me. Falls Creek is renowned for it. You just get people sniping on the bridge and being bad over there, so whatever. We're going to get up here, and we're going to kill this KV1, and you can see how quickly the tank moves. It gets up this hill like a little whippet once we drop the hammer. So back to the gun, 0.37 dispersion, very, very solid. 2.1 second aim time, not super quick, but quick enough, and 10.5 rounds per minute with 200 alpha means you've actually got a really sweet DPM of in excess of 200, 2100, maybe even 2150 is your damage per minute. Now you can see we're going to get rid of this KV1, and then we've just got the Ram. He's a tier 5, he's a premium tank, he doesn't have great pen numbers, his armor's not going to be worth jack against these guys, so we've got to make a choice. We can't stand in this tank. You can't really hull down and bounce shots. So I'm going to run. And they make a very good shot here. I thought I was protected, and I wasn't. I was really surprised that shot got in, but it did. And it's cost me dearly. So what do? You're in a light tank. What have you got? You've got speed and you've got camo. And the Type 62 Dragon has them both in spades. So we're going to get way out on the flank. Way, way out. Little power slide. Dipping and whipping. Why do we get way out? It looks like we're running away. We're not. What we're doing is we're using that Ram 2. He's not going to be good for much, unfortunately, because he doesn't have much of a tank for this kind of thing. We're going to let him spot targets, and we're going to fire here. And because of our camouflage and the fact that we're so far away and we've got there so quick, we're going to be able to shoot without anyone putting incoming fire back into us. Excuse me, got a bit of a cough at the moment, boys and girls. So here we are. That IS is the big trouble. We've got to clear that IS. So that's what we're focusing on, putting shots into the IS. But we can't miss an opportunity to take a tank out when it presents itself. And there we go. The SU-100 is certainly dying for it. So now we're down to 1-on-2. The IS, who's obviously a big danger, but we put just enough into him to make him a 2-shot kind of tank. If we can get one more into him. There we go. And the SU-85, who we haven't seen. Now, remember that little part before where we came up the back? He's expecting me to come from this side. All well and good. I'm happy with that. But we're going to go around here, straight up the back, and we're doing it so quick. And watch how quickly this tank gets up this hill. It's like it's not even there. And because we saved hit points, we're allowed to do this. We're allowed to take these little risks because we saved the hit points from earlier on. And we're through so quick. I mean, the speed on this tank is phenomenal. So you've got this crazy speed. Look at the agility and the mobility on it. The rate of fire. I mean, we're running gun rammer, so there's another 10%. We're running vents. We're running rations. You know, you've got your own perks and everything. The thing is a machine of justice and virility. A couple of notes. You've got no armor, but that's great. It's a great training tank. And light tanks tend to be like that because if you play them like a YOLO merchant, if you're silly with them, you will absolutely get hammered. And we've won this one. We know we've won this one. It's all over bar the shouting. And the audio's gone out of sync, but don't worry about that, boys and girls. You can see what's going on. 10.5 rounds a minute, 200 alpha, 250 pen on your heat rounds, 58 degrees of traverse and 48 degrees of turret traverse, and a whole lot of love. And it makes credits into the bargain. And you're going to see we were running provisions, we were running fuel, we were running the whole 9 yards on this one. And we still came away after a very nice first class badge with a whole lot of other bling with a little bit of money in the bank. So the Type 62 Dragon, I think it's an outstanding tank. You can see from that game exactly, I think, how I play it. And if you want to play it in that manner, feel free. Get out, spot, constantly redeploy, get around, use flanks, use teammates, get those shots in, and never put yourself in a situation unless you have the hit points to handle it. In other words, don't just go and YOLO at a tank because you can. Make sure that when you do it, you're doing it for a reason, or it's worth swapping the hit points. Because if you get in a dogfight with someone and they get a shot at you, it is going to go in an awful lot of the time. I'm Bushka on Blitz. You've been bloody lovely. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, stick around for more nonsense. Patch 2.9 videos coming your way this afternoon, and if it's you watch this another time, coming your way. It's come your way. There's more patch stuff coming your way. You're lovely human beings. Stay safe on the battlefield, and bye for now.